Good evening, everybody, and I hope you're all well. I hope everybody is fine and funky out there, even though just the one of you that's joined me so far. Never mind, I'll be throwing this out there tonight, and hopefully, this isn't something I'm doing to create a fuss or start a challenge. It's just to start people talking and maybe just put some educated arguments out there to help others understand and see. And I'm not necessarily going to be 100% right on everything. I know that I'm an old fart. There's going to things I'm going to get wrong, or there's opinions I may have and thoughts I may have that are really going to push people's buttons. And I'm hoping not to do that. This isn't about aggravating anybody or upsetting anybody. This is just based on a 60-year-old guy's views who grew up in the countryside, has been in and around farming his life. I have found family in the West Country that farm. I grew up around farming with cattle and so on, and also working in the MOD ranges, danger areas, facilities for military training, as well as using those in my active days. So again, this is what this is about. Now, I've had to write loads of notes to apologise about the language. Um, so what I'm going to do is talk through that, and then hopefully, yeah, we'll just start the ball rolling. But just a quick one for you guys that are here. So the channel, we started in October 22. We have in our library 684 videos, 302 shorts, 139 lives, and 150 posts. We've had a grand total of 293,357 views. Yeah, I know this channel's out that. They'll get that in first 2 hours of a video. I don't care. It's my little channel. I like it. We got 2.4k subs. Awesome. Do you know what beats up more than that, more than anything else? Our little community. The community we're building. The views, the videos, why do I do it? Do it because I like it. I like sharing. Now, I'm not, this is a bit of a political one tonight, which I don't normally do politics, but looking into stuff, I felt that this needs to be said and it needs to be put out there to people. And hopefully, we'll start a bit of dialogue between all the various people that are involved. Maybe encourage other people to go away and think about it. And if there's anybody out there that's a great organizer that sees this, please pick up the baton and run with it. I'm too old, too infirm, too ill to take on this challenge these days of my life. I fought enough wars in my time. I'm not ready to take on another one. I actually want a quiet life, but I'm just going to put this out there. So this is all to do with what's happened in Dartmoor and the fact that we've been told, yeah, we got the right to camp, and how we're impacted by the so-called Crow Act, which is the right to roam, apparently. So, how does it affect us? Well, it affects us with things like wild camping and stealth camping. What is wild camping and stealth camping for anybody that doesn't know that's watching this that may be looking in from the outside world? Well, that's the staying in wild places, often off the beaten track, and often with the minimum penalties. Why would you do this? Well, could be long distance walkers, people following long distance routes. It could be somebody just wanting to escape from the rat race for a few hours that just wants to go and set the hammock up or do an overnighter in the peace and quiet of the countryside and reconnect with it. Okay. So you've got to ask yourself from that point, what's the problem? Well, the problem is in England and Wales, it is illegal to camp without permission on any land, with the exception of Dartmoor, which has just been ruled. Yes, you can. Dartmoor, yes, you can. Now, Dartmoor, it's been a fight and a win there. And we hopefully through this, what I'm saying to people is we need to be pushing this further, but we've also got to be sensible in how we do it. And speaking to many people and getting feedback from many people, there are also bits and pieces that people don't necessarily understand. So I am going to try and put all sides forward. Now, I am pro wild camping. I am pro wild camping, responsible wild camping. Yeah, I'm all for that. I do it myself, and I think other people should be able to get out and do it, even though that is an admission of committing an illegal act. Well, you didn't catch me. You can't prove I was there. And I ain't never going to admit to where I was. So, anyhow, let's get on to this. The Crow Act of 2000. All right. After many years of campaigning, mainly by the Ramblers Association, they won this act, which was enshrined in 2000 into law in Britain. The Act, which allows the right of public access to, and this is important, allows the right of public access to mountains, moor, heathland, downland, and unregistered common land, okay, that is unfenced and unowned. In other words, not owned by a private individual. It's not a farm, it's not a business, it's not somebody's back garden. The right to roam does not actually give you the right to just wander anywhere. It gives you the right to access these places. What it does ask you to do is be respectful, care for nature, not wander off of the tracks and that, and try and care for the environment. But it does give you the right to roam. It does give you the right to say, what's under that tree over there, and walk out there. Now, that opens up nearly 1 million hectares of land in the UK under the Act. 1 million hectares, not just at one end of the country, but the length and breadth of the country, length and breadth of England and Wales. Okay. Now, as we stand at the moment, it means that I can go and walk all over Exmoor, all over Bodmin. Yeah, do it, no problem. But woe betide, I do anything that is banned by the Act. And there are things banned by the Act. And bear in mind that this Act was primarily pushed by the Ramblers Association, which is massive. Okay, they got everybody behind them. They fought for this and did it, and fair play to them. Okay, but they were interested in what they do, not what anybody else does. Okay, so although that sounds great, the Ramblers fought for their rights, but no others. Right? They won their rights, and they fought for their rights. Right? And until recently, nobody was picking anything up. None of us were noticed until good old Mr. Darwell. You called him good. Yes, I did. Thank you, Mr. Darwell. Thank you. You actually did us a big favour. Taking this, right, your fight to try and make Dartmoor yours and private, or parts of it yours and private, against the Act and against the rights of camping and walking out there, brought it to the light. It brought it out to the public. People suddenly looked at it and went, not having this. Okay. People that don't even go into the countryside went, that's unjust, that's unfair. What's that? And it went to court. And it's been through all the courts now. It's been to the most senior court in the land. And Mr. Darwell, you lost. Okay. Take it on the chin, move you and your hedge fund off somewhere else, or just accept it for what it is. The little man gained the right. Okay. So that's the first wedge that was actually driven in. And I know lots of people hate him, but if I met him, I would thank him and shake his hand personally for bringing all this to light. Because without him, nobody else would have ever noticed. But what has happened meantime? Well, we still have the Crow Act, which people keep saying to me, yeah, but we've got the Crow Act, we've got the right to roam. You have. You've got the right to roam. Under the Crow Act, you may only do 4 things. You may only walk, sightsee, birdwatch, climb, or run. Sorry, 5 things. Walk, sightsee, birdwatch, climb, or run. That's all you may do, okay, in these places. It actually stipifies, right, from the 25th of May, 2025, this year, Amendment Schedule 2 actually stipulates, and this is where we've got to be careful because there's something being slipped in under the door, okay? You may not, under the Crow Act, in any of these places, ride a bicycle or a horse, bring any animal other than dog, drive any vehicle other than a mobility vehicle, camp, play organised games, hang glide, paraglide or parachute, use or have with you a metal detector, use a hot air balloon, run a commercial activity including dog walking, trade or sell any item, charge visitors other than for parking. You may not film, photograph, or make maps. You may not remove, damage, or interfere in any way with any animals or plants, fish or birds, light or risk causing fire, damage hedges or fences, or walk on crops or enter any field that may have been ploughed within the last 12 months. Okay, or any field that is used for crops. Gates must all be left as found. You may not leave any litter, and you cannot disturb in any way livestock or wildlife, post notices, or commit any criminal act. Now, you see what's happened there. There's all these things you can't do. You can't cycle. So hang on, what harm's cycling? I can't take a photograph. I can't film, but I can come and birdwatch. Oh yeah, but you're not a birdwatcher, so you can't take that picture. You can't film that. How dare you? Okay. All these things are being slipped in under the radar. You can go and look at the act yourself. Look it up on the .gov website. Go and look it up for yourself. I'm not stirring the proverbial or trying to be a nuisance. These are out there. Okay. It also states that between the 1st of March and 31st of July, and this I do agree with, dogs must be on a lead of no more than 2 metres. Yeah? And at all times on a lead of no more than 2 metres when around livestock. Now the reasoning being for that is between 1st of March and 31st of July, in a lot of these places we have ground nesting birds. Okay. And Poochie, I'm a dog lover myself. I love walking my dog, but the issue is, and I have had it and seen it, dogs disturb nesting birds. They'll also crash through nests. They're also great gollopers of eggs when they find them, and chicks. So, it's not an intentional thing and it's not a nice thing. It's just to protect those birds. After 31st of July, yeah, you're free as long as your dog has recall and is reasonably obedient. You have the right to let off the lead, same as before March 1st. Now, I think we can all agree to that as country folk, as people that love the countryside. Not only do we want to go out and enjoy the countryside, but we want to see the wildlife out there. And we would probably be the ones that are prepared to stand forward and say, yeah, got to protect that. I want it to last. I want my grandchildren to see it. So that's what we have to do. Farmers are also been given the right to restrict dogs from lambing fields. Now that was something I've wanted to see for years, because again, if you're walking a route and there's a field full of lambs and you've got a dog, please don't go through it. It's not that your dog we're worried your dog will attack the lambs, but it causes stress. Sheep and lambs, stupid things, will die for almost any reason. I promise you, they will almost look round and go, "Look me a dog," and go. It will cause them to abort and all sorts of bits and pieces. So I do agree with that. But there's also a lot I disagree with. So, what's the problem? What do we do? Okay, how do we approach this? Well, the way I see it, the biggest issue for us guys that do what we do is out of every 100 responsible wild stealth campers, etc., there is a very small handful, and I mean a very small handful, of peoples that are either out of misguided or belief, cock it up for us. They don't care. They go out there, light fires madly, have wild parties, which I've no problem with. I did that as a nipper, but they leave their crap behind them. They leave the signal. They leave the mark. And just 1 or 2 cases of that stands out. The media gets hold of it. The government get hold of it. Officials go, look what you're all doing. Look at you, all you terrible people. The majority of us don't. The majority of us, you wouldn't tell we'd been out there before or after. Okay, we go, we do our thing. We try and do it as one with nature as possible. And when we leave with respect, i.e., we leave nothing. Okay, hopefully not even footprints if we can. Okay, so it's not us that are doing it. It's a very small percentage of people that get noticed, and quite often these are in areas around urban areas. It's happened in Scotland, who have the rights and acts that I would like to see imposed or brought in, not imposed, here, which is pretty much the right to camp, walk, travel anywhere you want, as long as you're respectful, you're not trampling somebody's fields. Happened around Loch Lomond. There's now restrictions around Loch Lomond on camping. Why? Because people travelled from Glasgow out to there, had weekend parties, great, awesome, didn't bother tidying up after them, made a mess, right? Left that crap. It's not my crap. I'm not bothered about it. Let's leave it behind. Next thing you know, that area is restricted. You can't camp there certain times of the year. What's happened now? They're all moving down to the Forest of Galloway and going out to the Forest of Galloway and doing the same thing. And restrictions are going to come in there. And the Forest of Galloway is the United Kingdom's largest wild forest. It's beautiful. Been there many times and enjoyed it. But the areas they put in there, like the picnic areas and the barbecue areas and the camping areas, are now getting trashed. Things are getting burnt, pulled down, thrown on, just ruined. And eventually what happens? It wipes it out. But is it us? No, it's not the majority of people that are sensible. It's just the few. It's just the one or two, invariably, that are not even interested in wild camping, stealth camping, getting out there and enjoying the environment. They just want to get out in the middle of nowhere, have a party, get off their heads. Okay? So that's the issue. And we get labelled in with them. So, in most cases, people aren't even aware we exist. Government isn't. So, how do we deal with this? How do we deal with this? Yeah, we have to deal with this by trying to educate people. We actually need to come out the shadows. One of our issues is we're not seen, we're not noticed. We've got to start poking our head above the fences a little bit, making a bit of noise. We've got to start pointing at the ones that are ruining it for everybody else, and maybe asking the authorities to come down on them, prosecute them, deal with them in a manner that they should. Okay, to protect what we want, and by so doing, actually saying, well, when are you going to allow us the right? When are you going to allow us the chance? When are you going to allow us the chance to actually show what we do? We can be of help to the countryside. We're people that enjoy being out there. We see and notice things way before anybody else does because we try and immerse ourselves into it. Okay, we're going to be the first guys on the phone because somebody's lighting a fire in an inappropriate time of the year or in an inappropriate place. We're going to be the guys that will report somebody for dropping litter. And invariably, we're the guys that actually pick that litter up and carry it out with us. Okay, we need to start letting people know. People need to start making videos saying, look, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We need to do a bit of a campaign to actually say to people, look, wake up. It's not us. It's a few idiots. Okay. But we also, on the other side of the coin, and this is my farmer's head coming in. Okay. We also need to remind ourselves that these areas that I'm talking about are the areas affected by the Crow Act, the open mountain, open moorland, open heathland, and open down of the United Kingdom and unregistered commons. What I'm not talking about is farmland, MOD land. Why not, Mickey? Bloody farmers have got all that land. Well, I grew up running around farms. I've got family that still farm. So I'll put it to you from their point of view. And I have spoken to several of them and said, how would you explain this? Right? And most of them say, I don't have a problem with that guy who turns up in my wood for a night that I don't even know's there and leaves no trace. It's not a problem. I didn't even know he was there. It's not an issue. However, if I start saying to people, yeah, it's okay to camp in the woods, how long's it going to be before I get hordes of bloody idiots coming out of the town having raves in my fields? Okay. Circa 1990s. A lot of damage and a lot of issues there. So we have to remind ourselves, would you let somebody just camp in your back garden? Well, probably not. And when you're approaching and dealing with farmers, you've got to think of it the same way because they invest so much of their time and livelihood into their farm, yeah, which makes the argument tougher for us. But what we need to do is we need to organise. We need to set out an agreed methods, systems, statements, and that we'd all agree to abide by. Blimey, Mick, you're making rules. Well, don't we already? Do not think that I'm trying to say you can't, you can. What I'm saying to you is you already obey the rules. All of you, anywhere in the world that is into this thing, already obeys the number one God given rule that we all follow: leave no trace. Okay? So, what's the problem with also turning around and looking at it and going, oh, okay, Certain times of year, in certain conditions, look, we don't like fires. Don't put ground fires down. You know, in places like America where they have national parks, so they open up areas, and they don't always open up the whole national park. They open up areas within the national park for people to camp. There's fire bans. These areas are the only areas you will camp in. If you go camping off somewhere else, you'll get moved. You can get fined. So again, there has to be a management and control as it turns into mayhem. Why is it an issue to farmers? Okay, when they've got all that land, I have bloody tons of land, 2,500 acres. What's your problem with just little me? Well, I'll tell you what the problem with little you is. One, the farmer has to pay for the footpaths. He has to, by law, maintain the footpaths. He gets no use of them. So he has to mow them, he has to cut them, he has to fence them, he has to ensure they're okay. So he's already a little bit paid at that. And I've got family that have to do it, and they say that bloody ramblers pulled the bloody fence down because there's a fucking puddle in the countryside because they don't want to get their booties dirty. You're in the countryside. I've got to replace that bloody fence or it's let the cattle out. The other issue is we have what we call crop contamination. Now, if you're not a farmer, it's not something you're going to be used to hearing. Okay, you're going to be sitting there going, what the fuck's crop contamination, mate? It's quite easy. When you grow a crop, you plant your seeds, the seeds grow, they become plants. Okay, now you walking across a large area of countryside, you are going to contaminate those fields you walk through. You pick up spores, seeds, and other plants as you move through, and some of these can be a real pain in the arse. Okay, you can take some of the plants like ragwort, single ragwort can cause the growth of hundreds of ragworts the following year. Right? Now, if they've got into the field and it's got a fast-growing winter wheat crop that's got away before the ragwort's actually up, flowered, and seeded before it's harvest. But it's also a toxic plant that means that field's gone to waste. Right? You can't risk it going into the food chain. You can't risk using the feed. So when you take wheat, you take all the heads off and the rest of it, that all goes off nice. That's okay. But everything else is a byproduct. That byproduct goes into animal feed. Okay, that goes into bedding. It's also poisoned now by the ragwort. The cattle, horses, livestock eat it. They're done for. Okay, they're very, very ill. So that becomes an issue. And there are many other plants, fungi, pests, bugs, insects. Things can be transmitted that way. Diseases, if you're walking through livestock fields, okay, you can transmit tuberculosis, bovine TB. If a cow in a farm a mile over that way has got bovine TB, he's dribbling, that's got the virus in it. You walk through that field, pick it up on your clothing. And I know there's people sit there and go, oh, what's the chances of that, Mickey? Happens. You transfer it into another farm, that farmer's now shut down. He's not got bovine TB. His animals are slaughtered. Okay? And a prime example of looking at this, and for any of you that are a bit young to remember it, go back, look up on YouTube, right? 2001 foot and mouth outbreak in the UK. Okay? That was absolutely terrible. That affected my family as well. That affected friends of mine who I watched lose absolutely everything because they were hit twice. So foot and mouth 2001, 6 million cows, sheep, goats and pigs in the UK, healthy or otherwise, were slaughtered. Right? And I don't mean taking the slaughterhouse humanely done. I mean a guy comes in with a rifle on the farm, there and then. They're not allowed to be moved. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Dragged out to a pit, burnt on the farm. The compensation that they were offered didn't even cover not even a tenth of what the animals were worth when you took into consideration what it took to bring on a herd and that. And a lot of farms, there's a lot of suicides at that time. A lot of farms went under. A lot of people lost their homes through it because the bank straight away went, whoo, foreclose. See, excellent. We've got a farm to sell to somebody, right? Brutal, absolutely brutal. It was a horrific time. It was a shameful time in the UK. How did it affect me and you? Well, we were banned from the countryside. They brought in a countryside ban. It was illegal to actually walk your dog or go out into the countryside. It was restricted. You could not do it. Those of us that are old enough to remember, it was hell of a time. It was awful. The footage on the TV and that was absolutely, absolutely awful. Now, there are other diseases as well. If you've got a dog, Neospora. So Neospora, it's spread by dog feces. And I'm not saying your dog's definitely got it, but your dog can carry it, and it might not bother your dog at all. In cattle, it causes them to abort, and once they've got Neospora, they become infertile. Sorry, they can no longer breed, so they abort what they're carrying. That's it. They're worthless. So if you've got cattle, and then it spreads through the herd, so you've got the same issue again. So again, our movement across farmland, we've got to be a little bit careful. Most farmers will turn around to you and say, no issue you walking on the footpaths, but please keep to the footpaths. Okay, they can't stop you legally and all the rest of it, but please don't just sort of go, the right to roam gives me the right to wander across a farm, because it doesn't. Okay, there are a few areas in the UK where people are keeping sheep and livestock on open heath, moorland and mountain. In those places, they have to expect it. Okay, they accept it. Wild grazing and so on, they accept it. But if it's actually a farm, please just keep to the footpaths, and obey the obvious rules. It's all common sense. Shut the gate behind you if the gate's shut when you come to it, or if it's open, leave it open. You might be stopping the cattle getting to the water. So again, and and that's why farmers are a little bit anti, because people don't see their side of the case. And I'm not necessarily talking about the big multi-million pound huge farms that are owned by corporations. What I'm talking about is a small family farm, somewhere sub a few hundred acres, that is literally just hand to mouth. They do struggle, and it they can lose everything so simply. I mean, a simple TB diagnosis in the herd. That's it. No milk off that farm, no beef off that farm, no animals off that farm for 6 months. Everything that is found to possibly have it, because it doesn't actually have to have TB, possibly have it, slaughtered straight away. Off. There they go. Blue tag in the ear, to the slaughterhouse, done. Okay. Minimum rate paid on DEFRA's agreement. Okay. But at the end of the day, that's livestock. That's an animal that you may have been breeding up in a herd over 20 or 30 years. Gone. So, what else can I say about this? Right, so the same problem with MOD property. When I was running MOD properties, the amount of times I had to throw people out danger areas, or areas where there's unexploded ordnance, because they would sit there and go, they've got the right to learn. Go, what's the red flag say? Oh, it says don't come in here when there's live firing in progress. Right, off. I had to deal with people, but I have the right. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's fenced. It's not open heath and moorland. It's a live firing range. It's exempted. Please leave for your own safety. What, you threatening me? You're walking through an unexploded ordnance area. I'm not threatening you, but something's going to go bang, and I don't want to be around when it does, because I've got a crap load of paperwork to do. Or as I once turned around to a guy, and I got a lot of trouble over it. I turned around and said, right, that's it. Yeah, if you're going to be stupid enough to walk through here, please, before you go, can you just give me your first name and your religion? And he looked at me and went, why? I said, because when I find your corpse, I don't want to do the paperwork. I'm just going to push you in a ditch, kick some soil over you, might carve your name on a bit of wood, stick it over you and say a prayer. And he reported me for it, and I got hauled over the coals. But it happens, okay? So how do we deal with this? How do we get all the things we want and get on? Well, the first thing we've got to do is organise. We've got to also involve other groups, because as you saw on the list of banned things that you can't do in these areas, what about the cyclists, the horse riders? What about the hot air balloonists? All right, I don't know about hot air ballooning because it's not my thing. But what about the paragliders? Or what about I'd say another one that's banned as well. Yeah, in that act, banned. You may not swim in non-tidal water. So your wild bathing, your wild swimming, that's done. No more going up to the tarns or the lakes and just going for a dip. No, no, no. Under the Atlas band, you're not allowed to do that. No, sorry, sorry. It's only for walkers, sightseers, bird watchers, climbers. You're done. No, not allowed it. Okay. Don't believe me? Go and look at the Pro Act. Read through the schedule. It's quite an eye opener. So we need to involve these, and we need to involve all these groups. Okay. We need to involve the farmers, MOD, government, all the various user groups, bring them together and say, look, let's push together. Let's all push together. Let's get this out in the open. The national parks, the authorities and that, the English Nature, National Trust. You've got all this land, right, that really and truthfully has been put in trust to you. It's not yours. It's entrusted to you for us. Now, we're not asking for the entirety of everything. Well, I'm not saying to people, I want the right. I do not want people to have the right to wild camp just anywhere. Because I want areas of conservation. I want areas of protection. I do know that we need to manage things. It's a little country with a lot of people in it. But give us areas where we can. Allow us areas. We've got Dartmoor. Fantastic. Not every part of Dartmoor is useful for camping. Some of it you wouldn't want to camp into. There are areas on it where you're not allowed to camp. Wisps Wood, places like that, because they're protected. And we would all respect that. But we have the South Downs. So you've got the South Downs path. As my friend Lee Roberts walked the other day, 102 miles. Now, I do know there's farms outside it in many places, but there are also areas of woodland. There's areas along that route where you could set aside a few hundred meters as a wild camping area. We're not asking anybody to manage it, mow it, put toilets in or anything like that. Just as a wild camping area, we'll be responsible for taking our waste and our rubbish away with us. It'll allow us to do it. It'll allow us to prove we can do it responsibly. Okay? That's all we're asking. So by doing this live tonight, I was sort of hoping, I've got a bit offline as well. What I'd like to do is just say to you guys, get out there, talk to people, start the communication. Any of you that got channels, throw this out there. Say to people, go and look at the crowd, go and look at it yourself. Honestly, go and look it up. Look at the scheduling, right? Look through at the amendments and see what's in there, because it's not just us that's been hit, it's others as well. But if we can band a big enough body together, and it may take more than my lifetime, but a long enough sustained campaign might just get us the right to do it. Okay? Meantime, carry on doing what you're doing. Do it responsibly. Leave no trace. Follow all the rules that we do. And try not to allow yourself to become a target for the haters. Now, I know this is going to get me a bit of flack from people like the Ramblers Association and a couple of the others, because they don't want this getting out there. Right? I have no problem with the Ramblers. I have no problem with any countryside users, but it's about sharing. Okay? It's about allowing others to do it. Things that have gone on in some cases for thousands of years. Why are you now wanting to ban horses from these places and riding? Half the tracks, half the trails, half the footpaths that you use were created for horses, for livestock to be managed. The drovers' ways, the drovers' paths, okay? They were routes, and they've been used by these people in this manner for thousands of years. Why do you want to stop it now? Why do you want to be greedy and not share? And this is one of the problems with groups and organisations. They do only consider their path. That includes the government and people like Mr. Darwin and people like the Ramblers Association and people in general. But if enough of us that love the countryside and what we do were to band together and sensibly campaign, I'm not talking about trashing anything, fighting anything. If we could campaign in the same manner, we might just get there. Anyhow, so that's my I start there writing that out for hours a day, scrubbing things out, rewriting them. That's what I wanted to say, is we need to look at the Crow Act. We need to take it in hand. We need to turn around to, and it's worth doing, getting hold of your MPs, getting hold of people. If there's somebody who's clever enough to know how you set up a campaign, I know you can what do they call it? You can send the government a request to actually have something listened to in the Houses of Parliament if enough people actually sign up to it. Petition, that's what I was looking for. A petition. If there's somebody who's clever enough to know how you do all that sort of thing, maybe there's somebody out there that has the ability to organise things like this. I'd have no idea. This is just a little man shouting his views because nobody else is, and thinking, let's put it out there. I've done my part, guys. Shout about it. Make noise. Let people know. Bridle ways have always been there. Yeah, bushcraft Sussex they have. But again, like I say, under the restricted things within the Crow Act that's been put in for 25th of May 2025, the restricted things are, I'll read it out to you again. Oh, hang on. There we go. One bit of paper's there. These are a list of the restricted things. I'll go through it slowly so I don't miss anything. So, under Schedule 2 of the Crow Act 2000, to be, and it says to be applied by the 25th of May 2025. So these are already going through. Under the Crow Act, you cannot, and I repeat, cannot ride a bicycle or a horse, bathe in any non-tidal water, bring any animal other than a dog, drive any vehicle, camp, play organised games, hang glide, paraglide, or parachute, use or have with you a metal detector, run commercial activities including dog walking, trade or sell any item, charge visitors other than parking, film, photograph, or make maps, remove, damage, or interfere in any way with any animals, plants, fish, or birds, light or risk causing fire, damage hedges, fences, or walk on any crop or damage hedges or fences or walls or crops. You may not enter any field that has been used for crops, even if fallow, for a year. Gates must all be left as found. Leave no litter. You must not disturb in any way livestock or wildlife. You may not post notices, and you may not commit any criminal act. So that's taken out. When I just look at YouTube and look at people doing things in countryside, so that's taken out cycling, it's taken out horse riding, it's taken out camping, it's taken out wild swimming. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some good ones in here. Don't damage the wildlife, trees, walls, hedges, and that, but slipped in amongst it. So basically, who's going to be allowed to go out there and enjoy it? Okay, this is how things get slipped in, and before you know it, it's enacted in law because none of us knew it was coming, and all of a sudden somebody says, "No, you can't. Fuck off." Yeah. So that's why we've got to grab this ourselves. Now, I'm not, as you know, I'm not the most literate person. I ain't the brightest person in the bunch, and I don't think I'm the first person to have noticed this. I'm probably not the first person to be shouting about it, but we all do need to shout about it. We need to get the word out there. Yeah, don't take photos. Not allowed to film. Not allowed to take photos. It's wonderful. You'll probably find it's because the National Mist Trusts are going to be selling the photos themselves. So if you want a picture of the standing stones, you can't photograph. No, you can't photograph it. Your camerology equipment might damage it with rays. But you can buy a photograph for £45 down at the shop. You know. And I love the way they left little things in there, like, you may not charge anybody for anything apart from the parking. Well, who charges for the parking? Yeah, it's all tied up. Well, that's it. We have no right to forage in the UK. It's actually illegal unless you have permission from the landowner. So, yeah, Three Dog Night under under law as it stands at the moment, without the owner's consent or the landowner's permission, we're not allowed to forage. Well, I always turn around to people and say, "What about blackberry picking?" Oh yeah, but that's just blackberries because nobody likes brambles. They don't mind you doing that. Nettle picking. Nobody minds you nettle picking because nobody likes nettles. You mention anything else, they start to get a little bit shirty. And I can understand restrictions that way in areas that need to be protected or where there's endangered species and plants. Because I have personally seen a group of employees of a rather large restaurant come into a wood and absolutely scalp it of every ounce of fungi in there. Yeah, education, not condemnation. Yeah, yeah. I don't know about making me president, Mac. Yeah, don't know about making me president. Um, yeah, yeah. Scrumping is illegal. Yeah, yeah. It's taking somebody else's property. No, I'm no. Sorry, free dog. Unfortunately, I'm right. So if you have the owner's permission, you can forage. If it's public land, common land, and things like that, strictly speaking, because you don't have the owner's permission, it then comes down to the authority, and no authority is going to give you permission to forage. The reason it's there is really to stop mass foraging. It's to stop companies coming in like they do with the fungi, where they turn up and will literally scalp a place clean. The idea is to try and protect the environment. Now, I have friends that work as wardens and rangers, as I have done myself, and their attitude has always been the guy that's just taken a few bits and pieces for his lunch, not an issue. The guy that's just collecting a few bits of pieces, not an issue with that. But where do you differentiate? If you say foraging is now legal, what do you do about those organised companies and businesses that will come in with 20 or 30 workers and work down a hedgerow, taking out every piece of wild garlic because they can put it in a little clear cellophane bag, sell it in their shop for £2.50 for a couple of stalks because it's wild organic foraged, right? And they will, because anywhere people see they can make money, they will. They go silly. And like I say, I've seen this in fungi. I've seen this with mushrooms. I've seen people go in and literally scalp the place. That was it, wiped, sterile for the next 5 years. Okay, because it's a quick buck. It's an easy buck, and by the time we managed to get the MOD police down there, the damage was done. So yeah, yeah. As Kitten Killer's saying, criminal gangs do it with the shellfish. Um, so again, the law's there for that reason, but it also is paired with common sense. So yeah, for the small term forager, yeah, you are breaking the law, but nobody's really going to moan too much if you're just taking those little bits you want. It's really there to stop the gangs and the criminality. Yeah, Sticks, you did a really good video there on the TI Ridgeline. That was absolutely brilliant. Hiya, Benny. How you doing, mate? Sticks. Right, I've got to go through this now, really. On a Three Dog Night. Hiya, mate. Bushcraft Sussex. Hello, brother. Hope you're doing good. Cujo Mojo. Yeah, sorry, mate. Scrumping is illegal. Scrump away. Mac, how you doing, brother? Hope all's good with you. Andy B. Hiya, mate. Sticks. Let's go down through his Kitten Killer. Hiya, brother. Benny, my main man. FU crew, hiya, mate. How's Chicago? Hope it's all good out there. Out with Max. Hey, Max, how you doing, boy? Anybody else? T. Hello, T. Yeah, I'm not. Well, I'm a rabbiter, but you wouldn't believe that took me a day to work all that out. Um, I know I thought it would do for an hour, but there we go. But this is the thing, isn't it? It's yeah. Where do we go from here? Now it's great, and like I say, I'm not anti Mr. Darwell. I'd thank him and I'd shake his hand. I'd even buy him a pint and a pie. Um, because he brought all this to light. He actually has made people go, hello, what's this? And we won it. We won it. It's a thin end of a wedge. The wedge needs to get driven further, but we also need to temper that because people are straight away going to go, oh, yeah, and try and show us in the bad light. We need to be organised. We need to turn around and go, whoa, that's not what it's about. We'll even police ourselves. You know, we'll accept rules and regulations. We'll accept the needs of neighbours. Let's face it, they can't be any more draconian than what they're proposing or what we already have. And we've managed with that for long enough. And hopefully I managed to get my bit about farms and farming across in the right manner. Like I say, the majority of farmers I know have no problem with a guy quietly sneaking into a wood, stopping the night, because they won't even know he's, like they say, if he's any damn good, I wouldn't even know he's there. So I'm going to be bothered by him. But again, there is that issue when we have organised groups, especially deciding, and it happened when the Crow Act first came in. People went by me; they were literally stomping around the countryside, stomping through crops. But I've got the right to roam. No, you haven't got the right to just go anywhere. Go away and read the Act. And one of the problems with any Act in law, people only ever read the headline. First line of the Act is you have the right to roam. I read that bit and went, oh, got the right to roam. I can go fucking anywhere I want. Nobody can stop me. No, it's not the case. Read the Act. Read it for what it's meant for. Yeah, exactly that, Benny, that is exactly it. And unfortunately, we live in a society where it happens. And that little woodland that you go to, if it was cared for, if they didn't do it, would probably be a lovely little woodland. It would probably be somewhere that people could enjoy and get pleasure from. But it only takes a few people to fly tip, start dumping. And it's a disease that spreads this because you tend to find places that are well looked after, people tend to be a bit more careful about. If you're going somewhere and there's a lot of trash, people just will carry on trashing it. It's a sad thing. Um, I sometimes feel like that picture of that that indigenous American person sitting on the hillside looking at the white man's oil pumping with a tear rolling down his face. Yeah, there's days I feel like that where I look out at something and I'm just like, oh, why are we so stupid? Yeah. Because it is absolute idiots and they ruin it for everybody. Funny enough, the same people, if you actually caught them away from there and said to them, oh, how do you feel about the environment? Would tell you how. Oh, yeah, I walk for the environment. I drive an electric car and I only drink water that's been milked from a gnat's anus. They will give you all that waffle, but actually, do they practice it? No. And we ain't all perfect, not even me. I left Trace the other day. I was in the woods and I did one of them sneezes. You know the ones where you get the real walloper, where you let it go, and the last thing you see in front of your eyes is something leaving your face and flying away. I looked high and low. Could I find it? So yeah, there's a bit of DNA out there somewhere. Oh, sorry, Benny. Benny. Oh, mate, I am so sorry. So she's either got it extra creamy or a little bit thin. Yeah, yeah, mate. Just keep it up. Exactly that. Yeah, all the short training areas definitely going to get put out of bounds because of the public usage. It's yeah, that's local to us. Me and Matt both know it well, and that again is just down to people. Literally, you walk down the paths and it is just dog poo bags hanging on bushes all the way down the paths. It's just lazy. I just don't get it. Why? Well, not prepared to. And I'll tell you what, I've stopped people doing that before now on training areas, and I'm still, excuse me, can you take that bit of dog poo or the top boot bag off the fence? I'd rather didn't leave it on there, carry it with you, take it back to your car. Oh no, I've just hung it on there because I'm going to collect it on my way back out. Are you hell? Are you hell? I can guarantee you I'll come back tomorrow and that dog food bag will still be there. So I'm sorry. Pick it up, carry it with you. That's why you bagged it. I would rather you actually left the dog poo on the ground than picked it up and hung it in a bag. You know, it's been in the bush or on the ground's bad enough, but hanging in a bag, that's crazy. Yeah, yeah, agree with it. Just as I said there, Bushcraft Sussex, crazy. Yeah, Ken can agree with you. Reason fly tipping's on the increase, it's local councils. Pay our council tax so that we can use the tip, and then all of a sudden, oh no, you can't bring that in without paying a fee of £45. Hang on, I've already paid to bring it here. I pay a council tax to be allowed to use the tips. Now you want to charge me? Oh yeah, because it's so expensive for us to get rid of. Not my problem. You're the tip. You're where I'm supposed to bring it to. I already pay a fee. Deal with it. Oh, but what have we done? But we've privatised all that. Hang on. It's no longer the local authority. No, it's run and managed by a private company. And the private company needs to buy new carpets for the shareholders and make sure they've got plenty of champagne for Christmas. So how can we screw the public out of some more money? Oh, I tell you what, we'll charge if they bring white goods in. Yeah, makes me angry. Oh, I'm getting political tonight. In fact, Tactical Tuesdays is political night. We're going to allow that in future. I might do the occasional Tactical Tuesday where we get a little bit political, where Mickey goes, "It ain't just and it ain't right, and we ain't having it." In actual fact, I allow you all to do the same thing. On a Sunday night, we don't do politics or religion. We're not going to do religion on a Tuesday, but by hell, I'll let you do a little bit of politics, but keep it nice. And just for your own consumption, not for commercial grain. And it should say on there with the landowner's permission. Yeah, yeah. It's one of those, mate. It's got twisted and twisted and twisted. For your own protection, I would say to you that what I know as the law is what we were using and enforcing um, 3 years ago when I left the MOD, because we were enforcing that act because we had a problem with foraging, not just. And again, it wasn't the case of the Joe Blogs just coming on picking a few bits for his own use. We had a problem with organised gangs coming in, mainly for fungi, mainly in the autumn, and we would use that act all the time. But without the landowner's permission, it was illegal. So, yeah, excellent. Compost heaps getting fat. Nice, nice. Yeah. Yeah, the other problem with foraging is what do you call foraging? See, we have old traditions in the UK like blackberry picking, okay, which is foraging. And like I say, nobody will moan at that. Nobody will moan at nettles. Cowslips, making cowslip wine. In some areas, I wouldn't pick cowslips because they're becoming endangered. In other areas, absolutely loaded with them. But then you've got to find that balance, haven't you? So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I would say carry on with your foraging. Do it a little bit discreetly. Do it a little bit politely. Do it a little bit friendly, and don't be greedy with it. Bilberries. Oh, mate, you want to come up my woods at the right time of year? I am smothered with bilberries. The only problem is it's a battle between me, the deer, and the squirrels. And you wouldn't think 6 acres of bilberries could disappear overnight, but I tell you what, they can. Bit for the table. Blackberries, yeah, yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Well, that's it. Blackberries, brambles. People see them as a weed and a nuisance. I mean, me personally, I see brambles as a resource. But yeah, yeah. Bill, unfortunately so, mate. Unfortunately so. But again, alongside that, you also see an amazing amount of beauty. So yeah. Cheers, Andy. Cheers, Andy. Yeah, the camp was great fun. I don't know whether to keep calling it a camp, whether to call it a meet the next one, because that's really. I had a couple of people sort of say me, "Well, was it really a wild camp? Was it really this? Was it really that?" I don't know. I think it's more of a meet, more of a social. It was where we camped. um, it's a difficult one, isn't it? What do you designate a camp? How do you distinguish between a wild camp, a stealth camp, and a camp? What are they? Has anybody actually sat down and gone, well, that's in the dictionary now, that's what it says? How do you guys see it? I mean, yeah, that would Max social weekend where we all camped in the woods, which is in the wild. We weren't stealthy though, but it was in the wild. Yeah, Mickey's moot. Yeah, yeah, definitely Mickey's moot. Good on you, sir. You know your druidic law. Yeah, merry may we meet. Yeah, yeah. So we're talking about. Well, no, because that's private. The land we were on there making our camp or having my camp was private. So you find there. But when you're out, yeah, if you're on open moorland, heathland, mountain, down, so on, yeah, in theory, yeah, you're going to be breaking the law. So how's it going to get enforced? That's the reality of it. That's the other thing with all these rules and regulations. How? How do you enforce it? How do you turn around and say, you've got 1,000 people walking out on the hills. None of you are allowed to take photographs. Everybody carries a mobile phone these days. The issues do come, and there is issues. I mean, the Lake District. If you look at the Lake District and what's happened up there, really since 2000 when the Act came into place, the what was the Lake District isn't any longer. The upper hills are absolutely being shredded because people don't want to take the routes that have been traditionally used for the last 200 or 300 years and decide I'm going to cut that corner because it's easier. Now you've got a new route, and then somebody else goes, "Well, I'm going to cut that corner even further," and you've got a new route. And you look at the satellite imagery of the lake districts in the summer, and then compare it to pre-2000. It's quite drastic. It is literally, it's gone from an area where you could see the individual paths, tracks, and trails to now some of the hills just look like a spider web. And that again has an impact on erosion, it has an impact on the wildlife. Areas that were just quiet corners where nobody really went, where you get ground nesting birds, plants, and so forth, are suddenly trampled by people that invariably don't know what they're even looking at or what they're disturbing. Oh, look, it's a bird. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at the pretty flower. I've had that one. I have had. I was monitoring some marsh orchids on a training area, quite a long way away from the path as well, and there found the person that picked them as they were walking off with a hat. Well, it was literally the heads of all the marsh orchids were there in their hand. Are they pretty? Aren't they? Yeah. There's 5 marsh orchids down there. Last year there was 2. This year there's 5. Next year there'll be none. Thank you very much. You know, what can you do? People are stupid. They will do it. You know, what really hurt me about it was I'd actually wired it off to prevent the deer from getting to them. So the person's actually put their hand down inside a wire tube to take the flower. People will do it. So blockade, false maker. Yeah, it's. I've got I've got a friend over here in Surrey. They've got a farm. It's not a big farm. It's 25 acres. It's a small little farm. They've got a couple of fields and that there. There's a footpath runs down between 2 of their small fields, and then out across their main field. But it actually goes right across the centre of the field, so it's clearly marked and posted each side. They don't plough the path where it runs through the middle. And every day there's people walking around the outer edges of all the fields, taking their dogs for a walk, taking their kids for a stroll and that in the countryside because it's lovely, isn't it? And he's forever going out there and saying, "Excuse me, look, stay on the footpath, please stay on the footpath." Oh, what am I doing? Fucking you compacting the soil around the field for a start. Two, biocontaminated. Three, your dog's crapping all over the field, and that's going to make shredded wheat. Lovely. You know, change your channel to a bird watching channel. Yeah. No, I think we should all carry on doing what we're doing. It's just that we should just make an effort to make more people talk about it. This is already enacted, and a lot of rules like that have been enacted for years. There's one of the upsides is who polices it? How's it policed? How can you police it? Realistically, you know, I can guarantee you, right? If I don't want to be found, I'm going to be found. I don't want you to see me. You ain't going to see me. Okay? If I want to forage, I will forage. What I will do is do it responsibly. You'll not know I've been there. I'll also have enough knowledge to look at something and go, that's an endangered species. I'll leave it alone. You know? So, oh, here we go. Sticks. T-Birds is a good name. Yeah. Oh, well done, mate. Yeah, exactly. That's Sussex. T-Birds. Oh, oh, dear. Well, there we go. That's been just over an hour. I think I'll put my point out there. Hopefully that's helped you guys see the sort of things that bug me. See what keeps me up at night. See where I sit up, laying there asleep. I wake up like that. No, you can't end now. All right, chronically, I won't end. But I'll tell you what. Give me a subject then. Let's do a bit of a Bob Monkhouse. Come on, chronically, give me a subject. Any subject. Choose me a subject. Let's go for it. Let's see if I can do a Bob Monkhouse. Go on then. Let me have it. Fires in the wild. Fires in the wild. Okie doke. So, fires in the wild. Let's talk about this realistically. Wildland fires. What causes a wildland fire? Well, take out the human element, as in Joe Bloggs lighting a match and put it to the ground. You've got thunder, lightning, static. You've got natural heat source generation from peat, undergrowth, rotting material. You've got rotting trees can spontaneously combust, a little bit of moisture and all that punk wood down there, and it starts to generate heat. So again, is every fire caused by people? No. Are the majority of fires caused by people? Yes. Are they intentional? No. Most people don't have the intention to burn a woods down. The occasional idiot, psychopath, sociopath, possibly. The majority of people, no. What happens? Do something simple, gets away from it. Simple spark, simple little bit of growth into the peat, a little ember in the peat. And my own experience running ranges on moorland areas, I've had peat spontaneous or burst through months afterwards. It's an incredible thing how long that peat can sustain a smoulder under the ground and will burn for many hundreds of meters till, in the right conditions, it breaks surface and then it ignites. So, yeah, fire, it's there all the time. What can we do about it? What is the best thing? Well, good woodland management, good heathland management, cut fire breaks. Oh, blimey, don't do that anymore. There isn't a budget in the pot to do it. Clear the undergrowth, have foresters. Oh, there isn't a budget for that anymore. You can't do it. Modern forestry techniques. Oh, don't start me on modern forestry techniques. Oh, in my day, we went in, we cleared felled pine. We sned all the pine up. We take all the brash went to wood chip. Everything. Excuse my language, forest floor got cleared. All that brush went to wood chip, got wood chip piles, that went to paper mills. The wood, Quite often went to paper mills, but might go to lumber. Okay, but when you looked at that forest floor afterwards, it was cleared. Modern techniques, yeah, we can do it so much faster now. We've got a machine, it goes in, it goes zip, 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 sneds it all out and leaves all the crap everywhere. All those sneddings, all the leaves, all the materials break down. They dry over 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It sits there as a mass of kindling right across that forest floor as the rest of the trees grow. And that kindling is just waiting for that spark. Whereas if you've cleared the forest floor, made it clear, clean, put your fire breaks in and so forth, yes, you can still get a fire, but it's easier to control. It's not going to be as fast. It's not going to run away. So modern techniques and practices are great if they're followed through, but companies want to make the buck. So therefore, they weigh it up and they go, do you know what, wood chip at the moment's not worth anything. Leave all the brash. We'll call it conservation. Councils. Do councils cut hedgerows anymore? Do they maintain your local woodland? No, they don't. Why? Aha, we'll call it conservation. And then we don't have to have anybody up there doing it. That saves money. So there we go. So therefore, it can be started by that broken bowl. It can be started by that lightning strike. It can be started by the lunatic that's sitting there going, certain part of this. It can be started inadvertently by people that really know what they're doing, who through bad luck, no effort to actually create a fire, who sometimes even go to all the lengths to try and stop it happening. It can happen. It can get away from you. It's one of my biggest fears up the woods when I've got the camp is that I inadvertently the fire gets away from us or something like that. I wouldn't want to be responsible for it. I've seen forest fire. I've worked in and around environments where probably 3 to 4 times a year we would end up dealing with heathland or woodland fires. I've seen the damage. I've seen how fast they can get away from you. It absolutely gives me the heebies. It nearly killed me once. So yeah, it's an experience I have no wish to go through again. I wouldn't wish anybody else to go through. There we go. Fire. Anybody else got a subject? Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, old school forest management is what's needed. It's better for the undergrowth as well. Get lots of new plants in there. Oh, lamb chops. Lamb chops on your campfire. Mm. On your third rattler as well. Nice. And again, fires. So I'm not saying don't have fires. I have fires. Manage it well. Don't trust it. Don't take risks. Not a problem chronically. You will get there eventually. Excellent. No, I tell you what, I have not spanned that bull roarer. Uh, terrified. Lee Roberts made that such a beautiful thing. There's a couple of other things that Lee made. So, you just sat there, hold it back, napping some arrowheads, uh, just giving a quick demo. You know, absolutely fantastic. Guy really knows his stuff. He's been bushcrafting for donkey's years, and yeah, has experience from some of the best. Really knows his bits. Yeah, he is an absolute legend. Yeah, and he's a funny man. He's got a very dry sense of humour. But that, yeah, bull roarer, it was spectacular. I think Kaz has got it at the moment. Maybe 2 seconds. Let me see if I'm just for those that might not have seen it. Oh, do excuse me. Oh, there we go. That was the bull roaring maybe, and fox prints on the back. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I am. It's a fantastic thing. Yeah, what more can I say? What more can I say? Thank you very much, Mr. Lee Roberts. And any of you that are interested, he's got a channel. I kept calling it LR Bushcraft tonight. It's Lee Roberts. Yeah, dive over, show him some love. He's a wonderful chap, and he's one of these kind, caring people that will share with you 100% his knowledge. He's always happy to try and help and guide other people on. Yeah, it is. Thank you very much, Sticks. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah. Yeah, so there we go. He's at Lee Roberts 6809. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's easy done. I don't know. I tell you what, Chris knows Lee as well, and he's not a man to show anybody up. He's actually, do you know, he's a chap to, how do I put it? He's very unassuming, very polite. He's full of wanting to encourage other people. Yeah, yeah, mate. He's Mac. I think you'll agree with me, Mac. When we look back to various units and that, that was the sort of mentality over the physicality that was looked for. That was, if you've got that mentality to keep going in those conditions, there is nothing that's going to stop you. Absolutely incredible, man. He is diamond and a machine. A man that can walk the soles of his feet off and still keep going. Absolutely amazing. And he's down on the southeast coast there. Yeah, it is. It's absolutely incredible. And he made that because he was chatting to Kaz. And Kaz is quite into a Celtic lore, the legends of the fox, the hare, and so on, and their place in nature. So there's a little bit of the Celtic in there. There is also a little bit of the Aboriginal as a hint to the Aboriginals, but that especially I admired because that's actually carved into it as well as it's just beautiful. And again, any of you like me, country lads, you see those prints, you go bloody fox, get a 12 ball. Yeah, absolutely wonderful chap. Wonderful chap. And again, any at the next camp, anybody that comes along, you're liable to bump into him. He's Somebody said to me, who would you choose to take with you to a desert island? Who would you take to survive with? I could probably Lee Roberts. We can go Lofty Wiseman. No, he's too long in the tooth now. Oh, that Ray Mears. Nah. I get on right with Ray. He's a great guy. He's a wonderful chap, but he's too busy, too famous. No, I'll take Lee Roberts with me because I know the man's got the skills. He's got the ability. He's got the determination as well. And again, and I'd say if you go to his channel and have a look at his 4-day epic march, it was absolutely epic. Anybody that's ever done any forced marching or long distance marches, mate, absolutely epic. Sussex, yeah. Let me know, Sussex. I'll try and make it down. Mate, yeah, no, sorry. That's my only issue. See, chronically, 400 quid a ticket. Really? 400 quid a ticket. It's just, yeah. There's making money out of things, and there's making money. And don't get me wrong, Ray don't make 400 quid out of it, but the management companies and the promotion people behind him, they're just ripping the arse out of it. I'll tell you what you can do though. You can come to a Mickey show. Come to a Mickey show. I'll charge you 25 quid. I'll even sign anything you want. Well, almost anything you want. Nah, sod it. For an extra £5, I will sign anything you want, but you supply the indelible marker. I'm not using mine to sign anything inappropriate. Let's have a look at the comments. Petworth, no Petworth. No Petworth quite well. Yeah, bushcraft show. Yeah, it's ridiculous price, isn't it? It's almost like go, oh yeah, if you're a bushcrafter, you must be rich. Rich. I guarantee you, most of us aren't. Oh yeah, Jason, how you doing? How you doing out there? How's the island? How's life? How's the summer going? Is it summer for you guys? I lose track of who's facing what at the moment. But yeah, Jason, lovely to see you, mate. Hope you're good. Hope your family's good. I watched a brilliant video the other night. Maybe I nearly wet myself laughing, but I think it was out in Alaska. And this guy's being shown through the bush. He's been guided. I don't even know where he's from, but he asked a question. He said, "What do we do, about bears?" And the bloke in front of him, the guide, said, "Well, no, that's not a problem." He said, "We're going to get down to a river down here in a minute, and there will be bears out there, and I'll show you them what we do." So I creeping through the bushes, the rest of it, and the guy sort of slows him down. He goes, "Right, yeah, we're nearly here. There's the river." He has a look. He goes, "Yeah, sure enough." He said, "Come up here, watch this." And he goes, "There's a bear there." And about, fair enough, 50 metres away, there's this bear. Just head down in the water. And the guy goes, "Right, this is what you do with bears." And the guy stands up and he goes, "Oi, you, bear!" And I kid you not, the bear stood up and went like that and then turned around and walked off. I nearly pooed myself laughing. It was just perfect. The bear was like, "What, me?" Yeah, all right, I'll fuck off then. Oh, lovely. Hi, Jess. How you doing? Hope you're good up there in Scotland. Sorry about that. It was a very poor accent. Shouldn't do it. Living the view. Yeah. Early this month, took water from my side away from the same stream. Must claim to have filtered it. But this farm run off into the stream. Oh no, that ripped your guts to pieces. That will rip your guts to pieces. Jess, have you, if it's still affecting you after 3 or 4 days, you need to go get a blood test, sweetheart. And if possible, take a stool sample with you. There are 3 or 4 very nasty little parasitic infections and viruses that you can pick up that way. Yeah, you might need to get it checked out, sweetheart. Yeah, it's not good. Not good. Yeah, big time for farm water. Yeah. Just, I'd say I've had people moan at me before now. They're like, well, "You're taking the water from the tap, you're still filtering it." Yeah, bloody right I am. And even filtered water, I like to boil. It's just, yeah, I feel for you. That's just going to rip you to pieces, and it rips the old insides to hell. So you've got my sympathy there. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have picked up my fair share of nasties over the years in various places. There's been that odd moment where you go, "Oh, fuck got to chance it. I've got to chance it. And it comes back to the survival thing. So what do you do in survival? If you're in an environment where that you're going to die of dehydration, you drink what you can and you'll treat it afterwards, especially in things like jungle environments where your water is available all around you. You know you're going to pick up parasites, you're going to pick up nasties, but at the end of the day, you've got two choices. Die of dehydration because when it's 90-degree and it's 100% humidity, that water is pouring out of you. If you're not replacing it as fast as it's coming out, you're going down quick. So you get to that point where if you've got nothing with you to filter, boil, purify, and make it clean, you've got to go, right, it's going to make me ill. I'm going to end up with diarrhea. I'm going to end up with dehydration. It's going to be even worse. But at least I can keep piling it in. Yeah, it's an awkward choice to make. Yeah, Cairngorms. I'll tell you what, me and Mac can't say too much about it. Me and Mac were somewhere in Wales. Lovely Mac. And yeah, I took the water from a lovely stream. Made the coffees in the morning. Luckily enough, Bill banked it, boiled it well and truly, got sorted. We started off later on, and no more than 50 metres up that stream, there's the old bloated sheep laying on its back, bits falling off it. No, it's a good job I filtered it. It's a good job I boiled it. Yeah, even tap water, yeah. Funnily enough, even this stuff, got to be a bit cautious of. Going to get stored and looked after. It may have been, Mac. It may have been. Yeah. You remember that night? I'll tell everybody the story because we got a bit of time. It was a bit of fun. So, yeah, there was. I can't remember how many of us. There was 4 of us. Was it just 2 of us? Did we have any? I can't remember if there's anybody else with us. I'm pretty sure there was. Yeah, we slogged on, and it started to get dark. We sorted the camp out, set up all the bashers, got in our bivvies, crashed. Wonderful. And I'd already agreed that I'd get up and sort out the brews in the morning. So I crashed out like that, gone. Out like fucking like gone. And it was one of those nights where you just don't feel like it's passed. And I was asleep, and I woke up, and I looked at the top of the bivvy, and that illuminated. I'm like, bloody hell, it's dawn already. And I got up, I got out there, got the brews going, boiled the brews up, dumped the boiling the bags in the brews, got them all up to temperature, got the coffees made. Come on, Mac, time to get up. Can't remember who else it was with us. I know there was other people with us. Woke them up. Said, come on, get up. So literally 4 of us all huddled together like that. It's still dark. The sun's rising in the distance because you can see the light just changing across the mountains when a full moon came up. The most beautiful full moon you'd ever seen. And all 3 of them looked at me and went, "You're only asleep 30 minutes, you prick." It happens. It happens. Oh, Jess. Yeah, get Jess. If you've not been checked out by a medical professional already, get yourself checked out, my love. You might need a blood test. Let them know exactly where the water came from and what's happened. Because like I say, there are even in the UK there are several nasty little parasites that get into that stuff. Can be passed on by cattle and all sorts that you can pick up. Yeah, luck of the draw. Some of us are luckier than others, Matt. It's just the way it goes. especially if it's farm runoff. That's because you're not just looking at. Let's break this down. So farm runoff, you're looking at effluent. So you're not just looking at the obvious poo, urine, and that, but you're also looking at. Come on, Mac, you'll remind me. Come on, farm disinfectant. What's it called? Bloody hell. Brain fart time. Comes in a gallon can. Oh, I used to use gallons of it. But you use that to clean the floors and that can go out with the effluent as well. There's all sorts of things can end up in there. It could even be down to leaching from fertilizers. It can be all sorts of chemicals in there. ADF. Thank you, mate. Thank you, mate. So yeah, Lysol. There could be all sorts in there, and if that gets into your system, that will literally knock out every single ounce of your gut biome. It will strip it bare, and it will literally make your stomach lining red raw. Yeah, but that could equally, Mac, that could be what's getting into the effluent. Yeah, it's. Oh, come on. I'm trying to remember. That's going to bug the tits out of me tonight. It's going to bug the tits out of me. I can see the container. I can see the container in front of me. Oh, I'll tell you what, it used to smell like creosote. Yeah, it used to smell like creosote, and it was literally like a capful would go into 50 gallons, and you could scrub the whole dairy floor with it, wash it out. It's done. Good. You had a stool sample taken. Fantastic. That's one of the important. The reason that's important is in the UK there are a number of parasites that you can pick up, and with the reintroduction of beavers, it's not going to be long before we're going to see giardia in the UK. And my American friends will know all about that. Jay's fluid, yes, that's the swine. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, sold to the public as Jay's, but on the farms we used to get it in gallon containers, but it wasn't called Jay's. It had another name. Beaver fever, yeah. Yeah, yeah, Giardia. Oh, there's lots of nasty little parasites. There's a couple that are actually carried in water snails, microscopic water snails that we've got to be a bit wary of. Yeah, biting your nails. Yeah, oh, I had to tell people that before now. Agricide, yeah. Senior service. Yeah. Well done, mate. Well, Navy. I was looking at some footage of my grandfather today, actually. Blue green algae. Oh, no, we suffer with that down here as well. And you know, blue green algae is one of the easiest things to treat. We've treated it for centuries as an old fashioned country remedy that will literally you can take a 5-acre lake and clear it blue green algae in 7 days. And all you've got to do is set a bale of barley straw in it. Okay, you set a bale of barley straw in it. There's an enzyme in the barley straw that absolutely destroys blue green algae. Yeah, absolutely destroys it. Well, that's again, isn't it? That's one I've seen quite often. I last time I saw that was actually a guy gralloching a deer who was running a course, and hands He just growled the deer, so his hands were manky as hell. And he took his water bottle and he went like that. 2 minutes later, just remember, lads, at all time, think of your hygiene. Drink from inside the bottle. You just wiped your manky hands all around the top of that. Great move, pal. Absolutely fantastic. Funny enough, same guy, 2 years later, I was chatting to him and I said, God, you lost a bit of weight. He said, yeah. He said, they tested me for all sorts. And I said, thought I had cancer. It turned out I had a tapeworm. There we go. Easy done. Oh, yeah. Lime. Yeah, lime treatment. That'll work. That shit crazy. Oh, God, yeah. You know, I think they used to collect the old guano. Yeah. Bushcraft Sussex, you can't bite your nails, but you can sure suck your fingers. Chronically, your signal's going out. Chronically, stay safe, mate. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Have a few more rattlers. Enjoy those lamb chops. Sussex. Oh, wonderful. So we got a bit off subject in the end, but that's nice. Now, I think I quite enjoyed that. Tactical Tuesdays. Yeah, not going to do it every Tuesday, but yeah, we might see about doing this occasionally and that. Because one of the things that I do enjoy with the channel is this interaction. I do thoroughly enjoy it. I enjoy chatting to you guys. You're all my friends. I think we have a bit of a giggle. Gives us a chance to let our hair down, share some ideas, thoughts, and also to catch up with one another. Like poor Jess. I mean, it happens, Jess. We've all been through it. I don't think there's anybody that's ever been out, had their adventures, done their travelling throughout the world. Sometime or other, it doesn't go wrong. So again, why we always prepare. That's why we've always got that backup kit with us. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, there's alternatives," but again, having a pack of Imodium with you can save you the embarrassment on the journey home. It can just help you a little bit. Good, good. Glad we made you giggle. Glad we made you giggle. Oh, Testicle Tuesdays. That's the nuts. Oh, oh dear me. Oh, naughty, naughty boys. Flip flops. Yep, can't go wrong with a pair of flip flops until you've got to run. And you remember the golden rule. When you're running, remember, drop the AK. That means nobody can shoot you in the back. All right? Kick your flip flops off. It's hard to run in flip flops. Oh, right. Well, I'm going to go downstairs and see my lovely Caroline, who's sitting down there doing a bit of admin as we speak. And I think it's time for me to tell her to take it easy, let her hair down, put a bit of TV on, have a cheese on toast or something, and just have an hour together. I hope my little rant at the beginning of the evening wasn't too much, guys. I needed to get it off my chest more than anything. We won't hit the subject again unless anybody really wants to. But yeah, go out and have a look. Carry on doing what you're doing. Don't let it put you off. Bear in mind what you were doing was illegal yesterday, as it's going to be illegal tomorrow. But if you do it sensibly, do it with an open heart, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Yeah, you might end up in court. You might end up getting a little slap on the wrist. But at the end of the day, so be it. I'll take that slap on the wrist. No problem, Matt. No problem. Mate, my inside my head, with a combination of my tinnitus and the way my brain works, right, all I can ever hear is a 1980s fax machine whirring over. I kid you not, with this tinnitus, it just sounds, you know, the old fax machines, and any of you that are too young to remember fax machines, go and look it up on YouTube. All I hear is wee, woo, wee, 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 uh, fear no one. Exactly that. I remember, as I said to somebody yesterday, don't be afraid of the dark, for there is nothing out there that isn't out there in the light. Cheers, Jess. I'm glad we made you feel a little bit better. Bushcraft, that's it. That's yeah, this yeah, Sinclair Spectrum game loading. Yeah, what for 8 hours for a game that lasts 30 seconds. Good night, you legends. Yeah. Cheers, Max. Guys, take it easy. Have a great week. I'll try and get a video up this week. Yeah. Fear yourself, make yourself stronger. That's a good one. I like that. Look after yourselves. Have fun. Get outside. Get have some adventures. And oh, Mac, yeah, been there. Yeah, have fun. Look after yourselves. Right, this is Mickey Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. From me and all of you guys to anybody else. Love those you do, forgive those you don't. May peace and light be upon you all. Guys, till next time, this is Mickey. Mickey out. I shall finish with the bull roar then. Thank you, Mr. Lee Roberts, from the bottom of my heart. It's awesome. Night, everybody.